Welcome to Lala's podcast with Justin and Clayton. You guys were just like last week, or like last recording and the one before that. I am Clayton. This is my best bud, Justin, and we are here to bring the word. The word of who? The word of just us. That's all you're
Amen.
getting.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Amen. Who are you getting? I mean, we're not hiding or churching it up here. It's just us.
Just us in all our glory.
In all of our glory, the good and the bad and the ugly, even, and whatever Justin's shoving up his nose.
And the beautiful.
And the beautiful. That's right. Dude, you
This
are glowing, I think, a little bit right now.
that's my ring light. That's the ring light glowing off the oil on my skin.
Oh no, I'm getting a positive vibe from you. I think I someone pissed in my Cheerios lately,
Yeah.
and I'm maybe feeling a little bit of a sour puss, as in kitty cat, not the derogatory one. But I'm feeling like a sour puss. I think you're feeling chipper.
This is my time to shine, bro.
Hell yeah.
This is my time to shine. What I'm sticking up my nose here is it's a knockoff of what's called a boom boom stick.
Hell yeah.
You ever heard of one of those?
We've talked about it on here before, but remind me.
It's basically just like menthol
Amphetamines.
menthol amphetamines that you shove up your nose and they wake you up, make you feel real strong. Like you could take on all the angels and demons in the world.
Yeah, dude.
Just be a fucking monster.
There is a bunch
Uh,
of them out there.
but it's knockoff, so it's not great. I got like 5 of them from Amazon for like $3.
And what do they do for you?
They clear your nasal passage. So the
Okay.
idea when I was exposed to it was that on during a Ragnar race, somebody brought some to just open up their nasal passages and give them a little jolt of energy.
Oh.
And I do it more out of probably more out of habit than anything, and
Is
because it smells good.
are they akin to smelling salts?
No, not really, not really. Have you ever taken a big whiff of legit smelling salts?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
I got tricked into sniffing some a while back by one of the Scots. That again, I haven't talked to him in a while. I need to confirm that uh, he's still listening to the show, and also that he's doing well. But
Yeah. More importantly.
that he's listening to the show. Um, no, man, he tricked me. He was like, "Hey, man, smell this." I was over at his house picking something up, and I had no like I had zero heads up what I was smelling.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember if it was in a bag or a jar or whatever it was. And so, like, if
That
somebody
would be real
says,
shady if it was in a bag.
if a friend says to you, "Hey, man, smell this," in hindsight, as I'm telling this story, that should have
What do
been
you think it's
probably
gonna smell?
that's probably the first indicator that something was about to go bad. But that's not how I took it. I thought this is going to smell good or interesting. So I took just as deep of a sniff as I could. And dude, like every dash light in my brain just started flashing.
Bling 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 bling
Yeah,
bling.
it was big problems real fast. And it remained a problem for a little while. I can't believe I didn't pass out.
I
And
need to order some smelling salts off Amazon.
and so afterwards, once I realized what it was used for and all that, I actually thought about getting some to put next to my bed that I could just sniff every morning to wake
Hmm.
myself up, wake myself up.
Hell yeah.
Um, that sounds like kind of a terrible way to wake up, but I feel like it would work. It might also destroy your nasal passage, but
Help me pick which brand I'm gonna put into my cart right now because I just looked up smelling salts on Amazon and I'll just go from top to bottom. Well, let me click on Prime first because I ain't about to get no scrub, no Prime shit.
no scrub.
So the top, which is sponsored, most of these are sponsored. Should I
Just
list the
skip the
spot?
sponsored name.
Really?
Yeah, because that's bullshit. I paid
Okay.
for that spot.
The first one, I like the play on words that these guys have. I really appreciate the play on words. The first one is all biz, potent smelling salts, water activated ammonia inhalant. What do I gotta put water in this shit? I ain't trying to do no two part. I'm trying to have this.
You're just trying to smell straight ammonia.
Yeah, dude. Water activated ammonia inhalant for instant energy. So that's all biz. I like that all together. I stand on business then. The second one, and that is, I might not be able to trust this because there's a Japanese demon on the logo, and I've been warned against
Mm,
demons lately.
you have, but that actually looks like it would be pretty
That
effective.
seems like a demon I'm kind of willing to chill with.
Yeah, he'll wake you up, wake your
Yeah,
ass
hell yeah,
up.
he will, dude. That smoke coming out of his mouth kind of looks like a meth pipe. I'm gonna go on to the next one. The next one is Flobo smelling salts for athletes in hockey, potent
Okay.
wake up for athletes in weightlifting, and that's just a Red Bull, also demonic. Now that I'm thinking about it, a Red Bull, demonic.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, sponsored. Okay. All right. This one is calling to me, and just from the logo alone, it seems like I might be related to whoever did the graphics for this. Um, it's just the brand is just smelling salts. Actually, no brand at all. It's just smelling salts. But
Dang, bro, I had
yeah,
no
dude.
idea. I didn't know what kind of evil I was messing with.
Well,
I
you
didn't realize
don't.
how occultish smelling salts were.
Oh man, is that a culty? I was thinking you wouldn't want to mess with him because he has no greater friend and no worst enemy written all over him. That's the dude who
His name is
has,
Randy.
yeah. That's his uncle. That's an uncle. Okay, there's the just the red elephant. I mean, what is what what are the animals supposed to be invoking? Just masculine energy animals?
Uh, I don't know. I really am surprised at the skulls and uh,
Demons?
demon like creatures that are on these bottles.
Okay. Well, this one, I mean, seems friendly enough compared to this. Oh man, are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, HP. My HP app tried to interrupt me very abruptly, but this is just Gorilla flexing that badass bicep.
Oh, I do like that one.
Yeah,
I do like that one.
1999 for how long? Smelling, and this is the brand is Syrinth. Okay, I mean not totally one way or the other. Smelling salts for strength training. Smelling salts wake up and activate athletes. They sure do. Instant energy, ammonia inhalants. What are, I
I mean,
mean,
you could probably just run down to the local co-op and just get you a squirt of ammonia in a
but
jar.
you shouldn't want to breathe in straight ammonia. Is that what smelling salts are?
I mean, it depends on if you're a bitch or if you're gonna be one of those animals depicted on or beasts depicted on the bottle.
Yeah. And I would want to be an animal or a beast versus a demon, right?
Right.
I would want to do that. But I
You
mean,
know,
sometimes the demons look like they're having fun.
I do know for a fact that we've talked about this, but just as a refresher, what do you suppose the marketing is behind like what does somebody see when they see that fiery
Skull?
demon blowing or skull, whatever it was,
No.
blowing the smoke, you know?
Yeah.
Like what does that indicate? What is that telling me about the product? And this the
Badass.
same the same goes for like if you see like a full truck window decal that's just like maybe three skeletons like just
I
causing
would.
mayhem and mischief.
Oh, yeah. I would be down with like three skeletons just laying like side by side, almost as like a tarot card or even like a Grateful Dead theme, I would see that. Man, one man's badass is another man's like hero's journey transformation because
Yeah.
you could see that demon or that skull and think, hell yeah, brother, don't mess with him. He'll mess your world up. He no greater friend, no worst enemy than
Trust no
Batman.
one.
Trust no one, Lord. I've heard that recently. Or you could see that and be like, oh man, that's taking the journey. I am that dead man. Or that is the way to salvation. That's right. To live as Christ, to die as gain, brother. Like I gotta die. I gotta die and go deep down there.
I don't know. I guess there's probably a segment of society, no judgment, that just looks at that and like that's tough. That's badass, man. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna put this skull decal on my back of my truck window so people know. Don't fuck with me, man.
But then like if you have that truck skull on the back of your or that skull decal on the back of your truck and someone's like, "Hey dude, what does that represent to you?" And you're like, ego death, brother. I got to take that journey and you got to kill everything that you thought was real.
I would immediately just apologize and be like, I was so wrong. I completely I completely misjudged you. I had a little moment this afternoon while I was driving where um, I got unreasonably pissed at this guy for no reason, like no reason at all, except that we were
I'm
we were
going with
at
the gorilla. The gorilla's going in the cart.
okay. And how many sniffs does that give you?
Oh, shit. Does it say?
Probably not. I'm not sure how.
40 grams. I mean, that's enough, right? I want to hear about how you got unreasonably pissed off at some guy in traffic.
Yo, I'm going to tell you about it. Actually, I got pissed off at two people in traffic. One for failing to perform their duty, and the other for just being a douche.
Okay. Doesn't say. Does not disclose. I like that. Keep you on your toes. You figure it out.
You figure it depends on how big a sniff you're going to take, player.
How big a dog are you?
Um, so I was picture this. I was southbound on Greenwich
Picture this. We were both but
on Greenwich. Uh, I think I was at Pawnee, I believe,
oh, heading south.
heading south to where eventually it's gonna cut down into one lane. But we've still got a ways of two lanes. And there's a guy next to me, kind of catty corner with me, that he's driving a red Pontiac that is just obnoxiously loud and probably
What kind of Pontiac? G.
uh, GT, I think.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm not a car guy.
Okay.
I was trying to figure it out because to me it looked like just kind of a family car that had a really loud muffler
Hmm.
or loud engine. Maybe it was souped up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he kept revving his engine like it was a fucking race car, and he was he was just catty corner just in front of me, and so immediately I'm like, fuck this guy, like come on bro, what are you doing? He was revving his engine, and there were two cars in front of him, and they were doing the thing. They were keeping him in line, and I was like, all right, perfect. Well, one of them dropped back, and so he was able to zoom around him. And there was a van in front of him that just completely pushed out. And I was yelling at him like, "Do not let him in! Do not! What? Stop! Do not!" And they scooted over. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That was your single job, is to hold this guy back. That's the only thing you had to do right now, and you moved over and let him go.
Yeah.
Fucking disgraceful."
Mm.
And then, obviously, it's not that far of a. I had a showing in Rose Hill, and so we ended up at 63rd at about the same time. Because it turns into one lane, and so you couldn't really go that fast. And you got stop signs, kind of the great equalizer. He ends up there at 63rd to turn east, and he's revving his engine, and he does like a little burnout where he turns, and I'm like, man, fuck that guy. I have no idea why it pissed me off so much, but it really did. It pissed me off, one, that he was revving his engine.
Yeah.
Two, that he turned the corner so damn fast. But then also the fact that van got out of his way. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That should be that should be like an unspoken rule of, and I think it really is. I don't know what this person's problem was. That's like an unspoken rule of society that your job is to just stay in this douchebag's way.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You don't have to go faster or slower. Just stay in his way.
Hmm.
Just live your life.
I saw a really cool video, and the soundtrack of it has been on repeat almost all week, and it's online with what you're talking about, and I really love that story. I think you're gonna this interweaves with it. But it was these two semis were going side by side, blocking all the traffic behind them, and you know they're going slow as shit, the semis, or at least they're going like five below, or maybe even the speed limit. And people don't want to be going the speed limit,
Right.
especially in the left-hand lane. When there's
Right.
a semi in the left-hand lane,
He doesn't belong.
he doesn't belong there. Well, someone gets out and rides the shoulder to the right to pass the semi in the slow lane where he belongs, and then immediately gets in front of slow Dickface that's in the fast hand lane and slams on his brakes and makes him get behind and makes him back up. And eventually he slows down enough and gets in behind where he belongs, the slow bob and the right hand lane. And then he takes off. And the soundtrack is I can't say it because there really is a YouTube is up and up their game on copyright stuff, but where you could like you can hum a song and get hit on copyright infringement right now on YouTube.
Really?
But it's and they say that a hero can save
Okay. Yeah.
us. And I was like, yes, that is. I wish I had. Sometimes I imagine myself as I'm close to having that fortitude of riding on the shoulder at speed. That is a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Riding on,
That's no joke.
yeah, you're
And
willing to let something go if you're doing that.
I need to clarify that the issue here isn't that the guy was trying to get around. The issue is that he kept revving his engine like he was driving some sort of a race car.
Man,
If
I'm
he
trying to give you grace, like you're not just a grumpy old man
if he'd have just
bitching
been
about
cool
his
about
engine.
it, if he'd have just been cool about it, then yeah, the van should have gotten out of the way. Like if he'd have just been behind him, needing to
What's
pass,
being cool? Not revving his engine?
yeah, don't be a douche.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
the
Revving the
way,
engine is being a douche.
yeah, yeah, it served no purpose except um,
Hey,
I don't even know what purpose it served except to piss me off. And mission accomplished, by the way.
yeah.
Um,
Huh.
I had a I've had a pretty good soundtrack going this past week or so. Um, you know, I went out to New Mexico and Arizona with my buddy Fraser.
How was that?
It was so awesome, and I've got more to talk about.
Okay, good.
But on the way home, we decided that we wanted to listen to like skater rap. You familiar with skater rap? Like the kind of stuff you would get on Tony Hawk, or you might hear it in a tattoo parlor or something like
I mean,
that.
lots of Pharrell.
Lots of Nas, lots
Oh,
of Wu
really?
Tang. Yeah.
Okay, hell
Um,
yeah.
Joey
I did.
Badass.
I did. Okay, not as familiar with Joey Badass, but Wu
Yeah.
Tang. Yeah,
So so I've been listening to just a ridiculous amount of Wu Tang and Joey Badass and
dude.
Nas. And at
No
one
more.
point,
No wonder your aura's shining so high right now.
and then at one point I was like, okay, I'm done with music. I'm going to listen to um, Carl Jung, um,
Man
dang
in his
it,
symbols.
Man and His Symbols. So
No shit.
I went from Wu Tang to Carl Jung, and I was like, on one hand, I was thinking, I'm kind of all over the place right now, but then I was like, no, man, I'm exactly where I need to be. This is the place to be.
Yeah, and if you listen to Carl Jung, it's all the same shit anyway.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, dude, the trip was so much fun. I think so we went to see a concert twice. We saw the band first in Albuquerque, and it was a really small venue. It was probably like
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Um, I'll bet there was 50 people at this show.
What?
Yeah, It was a really basically a dive bar that had a little bit of a venue in the backside.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, there's no way that there was more than 50 people.
How many miles did you guys travel?
Well, it was about a 9 hour drive.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's not the point. The point, Fraser loves this band, and I've come to love them too. And we just wanted to go on a trip.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, we saw them in Albuquerque, and I got to tell you, the last time I was there, which wasn't that long ago, it was less than a year ago, maybe 9 months.
I
I
think
think
you
I
reported on how methy it was last
Yeah,
time.
it was bizarre. Like it was uncomfortably just
Like Walking Dead.
yes. Well, this time around, it was completely different.
Oh,
Like it was a
really?
completely different vibe. I didn't see maybe there
Just a
was
handful.
less than a handful of people that either vagrant or that were just like doped out.
Yeah.
Um,
You do kind
so
of lump them all together, though, which is unfair,
it's unfair. Um,
but that's the way it is.
that's the way life goes. But it was really clean. I was shocked at that, and
No
I
human
was
feces.
I was so shocked that I looked on the map. I had to look in my email to see where I was staying the last time because I was telling them like this is a different place. We were 2 miles. Our hotel was 2 miles from the other hotel where everything around it was just a shithole.
Uh-huh.
And so I don't know if they just came in and cleaned house or if it was just a different side of the tracks or whatever. Um, but the highlight of that was hiking. We did some
Yeah.
hiking, and I I do a fair amount of hiking. I've been to Colorado a whole bunch of times. Don't make that face at me.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I
but
don't know if that it makes you a fair amount of height, but anyway.
it does,
Okay.
and it was the best hike I've ever been on.
I
It was
apologize. Super judgmental face.
yeah, yeah. For those
Yeah.
that can't see, he made it look at me like, you sure about
Mm.
that?
You sure about
Um, I I hesitate to say this. I think you'll get it. I hesitate to say this because other people might not. There very much felt like a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
It was really interesting, just how both of us like throughout. And also, it's worth noting, and I don't know why this was the Jimenez. I think it was Jimenez. May have just been Jimenez mountain range. And there are signs that say that it's a sacred place for whatever Native American tribe is in that area. And both of us throughout the entire hike were just like, man, this feels special. There's something like energizing and calming and like breathtaking and awe inspiring. Like I took so many pictures because every time you turn a corner, it was just like, and you just had to like stop and just look at it and admire it. And there were several times when I just sat on a rock and just just watched. It
Okay,
was
good.
it was very cool. We spent probably 20 minutes watching this anthill, how they were all like watching the individual ants like doing their job and going far away and coming back, and it was really really cool.
Huh.
Um, Good.
Did he ask for an explanation on Plato's allegory of the cave? Did you get to drop that in his lap?
I did. Yeah. We talked about that for quite a while.
And what did he say? Did he say, "Oh, you got me," or "You answered my question," or how did he take it?
Um, I mean, I basically told him that we had talked about it and all of the different areas that it applies to and how good of a allegory that is.
Yeah.
Um, so we did that. Let's see, we got there on a Sunday night. Monday we hiked. Monday night was the concert. Then Tuesday we went and saw our buddy Benny. That was pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, caught up with him for a little bit. So we drove to Colorado the morning. I guess it would have been Tuesday morning. We drove to Colorado, hung out with Benny for a little bit, and then did some hiking up in Colorado Springs.
With Benny?
No, no.
No.
Um, it's probably might have been 40, 45 minutes outside of Colorado Springs. And that was fun too. It didn't have the same feel. It didn't have the same, like, it wasn't as awe inspiring, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
Um, then we walked a total of 10 miles that day, and that kind of sucked. That wasn't as
Hmm.
much fun. Um,
Are you
walked all
saying
over.
that is in too much or
Yeah, it was just too much. Especially the hiking wasn't bad, but we ended up in downtown Denver, and we were looking for
which can be a
like,
lot?
it's a lot. Yeah, we were looking for an area of, like, an art area, like maybe that
Yeah.
has graffiti or whatever, like, just, I don't know, just like a creative place to be. And so we walked like the entire downtown Denver metropolis. Didn't really find anything too exciting,
Huh.
but
There's a really cool stretch walk in Denver, and I wouldn't know. I can't recall the names of the streets or even the name of this trail, but it goes like from one of the downtown strips, and you go over a bridge over a river, and before you go over the river, coming from downtown, there are these big metal flowers that are
okay,
like winding.
okay,
And then when you get that are fairly artsy fartsy, and then when you get to the other side of the bridge, there's some more artsy fartsy stuff over there. But I guess you didn't see that. Or
no, we
maybe
didn't.
that wasn't enough to even to come on your radar.
Possibly.
Yeah.
There was a Rockies game going on, so we walked all around the stadium and all that. Um,
You're looking for
you know,
more organic, more street
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, I've mentioned on here a couple times about how I have such weak ankles. Like,
Okay.
I'm always spraining my ankles. Uh,
Yeah. I'm glad that I didn't remember that because I feel like I would have judged you had I had that stuck in my mind, but I'm gonna let
well,
that go.
it's just from all of the football that I've played over the years,
Okay.
or footy. Is some
But
I,
it's
some of
footy
us
now.
some of us call it footy. Uh,
Hmm.
I was walking down the street and I rolled my ankle just walking.
Yeah.
And there's a vagrant that he was just chilling. And he was like, "I'll bet that hurt." And I was like, "Yeah, it did." And then he said, "Do you have any money I can have?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm sorry." And I kept
And
walking
then he pulled out a folding knife. It was like,
with a little
no.
bit. I kept walking with a little bit more of a hobble, a little bit more of a limp. But I was kind of fucked at that point because I've now walked approximately 10 miles, several of which were hiking, so an incline, and behind my knee, like, I'm not sure what you would call that, but it was just super tender. Like, with each
Yeah.
step, it just hurt so bad. So on my right on my right leg, I had that going on, and then on my left, I just rolled my ankle walking down the street.
Oh no.
So yeah,
Making my way downtown.
I'm guessing
Dang.
that when I said no, he was probably like, "Yeah, he probably doesn't." He's probably like, "Yeah, I can see it. He's probably got
Ain't got a
significant
whole
medical
lot going
bills."
for him.
Yeah, because he didn't press the issue.
Yeah.
So then we saw the band the second time. That was a sold out show. Still, again, a very small venue. I'll bet it was maybe 150 people.
And what's the name of this band again?
Saint Seneca.
Saint Seneca.
Um, super.
And they're from Wichita?
No, they're from Ohio.
Hmm.
You might actually enjoy them.
Okay.
It's super hard to describe. It's kind of folky. Um, like yeah, I don't know how to describe them. Kind of folky, kind of indie, kind of creative. Like, I'm not sure, but you should check them out. Everybody should check them out. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
give them a listen.
I will. I was when I was in the Navy in my last like couple years in the Navy, I went to Fallon, Nevada, and we went on a hiking spot up there and went to a national park, but had a lot of Native American. There were petroglyphs inside, like thousands and thousands of year olds artwork that was on there. One of them was a woman. I you can deduce that it was a woman because it was like
Because
a
she had
stick figure,
boobs.
and she had giant boobs, and that with like two circles. And that was one of my pictures was me.
Men have not changed in the past 200,000 years.
Yeah.
There's
Uh,
still some pervy dude just drawing a stick figure with boobs.
um, we found that we went to like as we were there in the same park, there was like this cave. For one of it was just like half a cave. And their sign was like cave with petroglyphs on it, and there was more art stuff in there. But I feel like it's kind of bullshit. You can't really call this a cave if you can't. It's more just like an overhang.
Okay.
But when in that, there was another actual deep cave that was fenced off and didn't go into that. Well, spent all day there and went into like Silver Dollar City, which was this old Western town by it. When I came back, I got the worst case of pink eye that I've ever gotten in my entire life.
You know how
Like
you get
both,
that?
not how you think or how you're probably going to say you get it, but
I don't know.
um,
I think it's pretty well established how you get it.
conjunctivitis. I got conjunctivitis, both eyes crusted shut. I actually went to I was hanging out with my Navy buds that weekend, like on a Friday and a Saturday. The Sunday after that, they ditched me. They're like, you go chill in the barracks. We're all gonna go out at the end. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna hang back, fellas. I went to it's like a CC's Pizza, but it's not. It's called might be called like the Pizza Rodeo because it's old Western theme, but it's an all you can eat pizza buffet inside.
Okay.
Um, I was eating there by myself, and this really cool eyes crusted shut, but like I peeled it up enough where and wiped all the
you're going
boogies.
to you're
And
going to a buffet
uh-huh.
with the worst
I
case
mean,
of pink eye you've ever had.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
just scraping the crusties out and reaching in and
Like,
grabbing a piece of dessert pizza. Okay.
well, yeah. Wash your hands before and after you eat.
Okay.
Um, Well, this old Native American dude was like wearing a really nice white button-up cowboy shirt with the bola tie and
Okay.
was like wearing hella turquoise bracelets and
Yeah.
rings. Had this long white hair that was really pretty. The double ponytails, kind of like how Josh Coburn wears his hair.
Yeah.
Uh, Pulled up a seat at my table and just started chatting with me. And he was like, "Hey, buddy, you look lonely." And I was like, I'm okay, but yeah, sure, I could use some company." I think he thought I was depressed,
It was
but
just the pink eye.
it was just the pink eye. Yeah, he thought I was crying.
Yeah.
I kept that one in the bag. I didn't let that out while we were talking. Actually, no, I did tell him because he asked me about everywhere that I had seen, everywhere that I'd gone and seen since I was in that neck of the woods. And I told him about seeing the petroglyphs at the national park. And he goes, "Ooh, that was a Native American park. There's like people aren't supposed to go visit that. That was like a burial ground." I was like, "Oh, really? They didn't mention that."
Remind me where this is.
This I was at Fallon, Nevada, and it's in the Fallon, Nevada area range there in that same geographical range. Um, but I told him about this national park that I went to, and he was like, "Ooh, you should stay away from that." And ever since then, I thought those fucking Indian ghosts probably gave me pink eye from going, and
Mm-hmm.
especially disrespecting the woman that was on the ground. I put my fingers like next to the boobs, like, "Ha ha, check it out." And since then, it was like double pink eye, get them,
Yep. Yep.
and I got it.
That's exactly where you got it because there was probably poop on that thing. And then when you
Mm,
touched it, you then touched your eye, and
yeah.
that's how you get pink eye.
I mean, let me ask you this: Are you the guy that washes your hands all the time? I know the answer to this.
After I take a shit, yeah.
Okay. Well, how many times a day do you wash your hands? Like if there's no one around, if no one's looking, how many times a day?
Well, there there have been times where I would turn the water on just in
Uh-huh.
case somebody was listening,
Yeah,
uh,
I do that move.
and not wash my hands.
Or I'll put my fingers in the water and then just like drizzle them off.
It's the equivalent of back when my kids were younger, and they would like just get their toothbrush wet instead of actually brushing their teeth. It's
Uh-huh.
the same thing. Like it's
Yeah.
it's little to no more effort to just wash your hands than
Mm,
to pretend like you're washing your hands.
still not gonna go that
Um,
far.
no, if I'm 90% of the time, if I'm in a public restroom, I'll wash my hands. I would say
Okay.
if I'm taking a
Even
poo at the
what if it's just a
house,
number one? What if it's just a number one? You wash your hands every time?
uh, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different of a scenario. It depends on the restroom, and it
Uh-huh.
depends on whether or not like the kind of door that we're operating with.
Okay.
Like because you have to imagine that there's probably a decent amount of fecal matter on the door handle.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a decent amount of fecal matter everywhere. So
and so you just have to. Yeah, it's just kind of a play it by ear. Just kind of follow the spirit.
see whatever feels right.
Yeah, see how the spirit leads.
I was in recruit training command and RTC, which is our boot camp in
Mm.
2003. And this is the week we were graduating. Actually, I think we had already graduated and like the drill instructors were cool with us. We're just waiting to ship off to our next school. And everyone had used the restroom and like every my division, we were all standing up at the sinks washing our hands. And my drill instructor walked by us, went and pissed in the urinals, and then was walking out. And he goes, "Hey, you guys are all washing your hands. Did your mamas teach you to wash your hands after you go pee?" And we're like, "Yes, petty officer." And he goes, "My mom told me not to piss on my hands." And then just kept on walking out. And I thought, fuck yeah, dude. I'm never going to wash my hands pretty much ever again. I've been getting in trouble for not washing my wife's been catching me not washing my hands. She was like, "Wash your fucking hands." I'm like,
Yeah,
"All right." But if I'm home by myself, probably zero times a day will I wash my hands before I prepare food.
so, like,
I
if I'm
said,
in a scenario where you ask me if I want you to make me a sandwich, I should probably just say no.
"No. Uh if there's other people involved, I'll wash my
You'll go,
hands."
go through the motions.
I'll go through the motions. I'll even put soap on my hands and scrub it together. But yeah, yeah, pretty much always. But if I'm making myself a sandwich, no, I'm not washing my hands. I'll do disrespectful things to my hands and then go make myself a sandwich.
Um, there was a time, there was a time when I very first started using Delta 9, right?
Uh-huh.
When I didn't expect because it was a gummy, and so in my mind I just didn't think that my eyes would get bloodshot. Um, and it so happened that I thought I had pink eye. I thought I had pink eye for a couple days, but I
Uh-huh.
think I was actually just high for a couple days.
Yeah.
Like I was, it just didn't occur to me. I was like, what? Where did this come from? How have I been afflicted with this? And then it dawned on me, no, man, that's just the redness from the THC.
From the Shiva, son.
No,
I was gonna say it's from sin in a joking way, but actually it is from that
but it
sin.
turns out it's serious. It's a heart issue. So man, we kind of started talking and didn't really haven't gotten into your weekend or what you've been up to or how's life.
Man, life is great. Life is always good. I took some vitamins before we started recording, and they're just now starting to kick in, which I love. But yeah, life has been really good. Life has been great. I have been dealing with like this, not dealing with it, just living and experiencing this aspect of myself in the like over the second half of last week and over the weekend. And the only way I can describe it is like I can't be love and light all the time. I can't constantly. I said at the beginning of this, I feel like someone's pissed in my Cheerios and your aura is beaming. Um, I might not necessarily still feel like someone's pissed in my Cheerios, but I have been grumpy. I've been a little short. Um, I did tell some folks at work, and to set the mood, one of them gave me explicit permission to say this to him because he's a lot. But there, I work with a bunch of younger guys. There's like only one guy over 25 that I work with, and he's in his 60s.
Oh
So
wow.
it goes from babies, infants, to a geriatric man, and I'm here in the middle, literally. But the guys were talking about just stupid shit, and I'm normally pretty good at toning them out. But I think Friday they were asking me questions, and I just had to say, "Hey, can we not do this anymore?" It was like, "Oh, are we offending you?" I was like, "No, I just don't want to. I don't want to keep doing
I'm,
this."
I'm tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, I just don't want. Let's just get this. Let's just get this done. Um, which is, I think it's cool. I think it's cool because they gave me permission, or one guy specifically gave me permission to do that. Well, I've been interacting with just the world around me, and the same thing has popped up with people in my neighborhood. I'm not going to be super specific about this because I know some of them listen to our pod, and there are no hard feelings. I love everything. If anything, I already have apologized. Let me apologize again. But
Did you apologize? Because I feel like earlier you were like you were explaining, and then you're like, or whatever. Like I said,
yeah,
I was sorry, or whatever.
yeah, that is an apology, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
um, man, things just feel so minute and so insignificant now that it's like I don't even it's not even worth it to even explain it. But for the sake of our show, I will, and for the sake of our conversation, um, I was I was at the pool, and there's this one neighbor who me and him really kick it off. We're good friends. Like we moved into the neighborhood last year, and we still are obviously really good friends. But me and him love to rap, like how what I call rap, like me and you rap. We talk and have really cool conversations about spiritual, mystical stuff. And man, I know like I've been on the other side of this coin for a lot of people, this whole story I'm about to say. But we were talking, and I go down the whole train like we're talking about, like, hey, how's this? How's that's going? Yada yada. And I've been describing them the Man and His Symbols book and the cool stuff I've been getting from that, and how I've been on a Joseph Campbell because the pool's just getting back open. Like today is the third day I went into the pool. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I went there each day, and each day the water has gotten progressively warmer, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time we're reuniting over the winter break. So like there's a lot of catching up to do. And I've been telling them about the Joseph Campbell kick I've been on, and how man it's just so awesome because he's really putting into words these things that I've felt, before, like it's all inside of you, all the angels, he takes Jung and Nietzsche and even Jesus and a lot of the Vedas and the Buddhist stuff. My kids, Cash is behind me in the hallway going, hey, 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 hey. I want to talk about that too. Like every time he pisses me off, I'm being pissed off at the me that I see in
Yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
too.
Because
um,
he is a little Clayton.
uh, but I'm going over all this stuff and like how awesome it is, and like it's how Joseph Campbell specifically has been awesome, and Young is really cool too. I feel like Young is always going to be Young, but I'm still kind of smitten by Joseph Campbell just because he's so new in my universe, and what great effect he's had at articulating everything that has been on our radar. Um, and he's the whole time he's like, yeah, yes, yeah, yes. He's like amen in it, basically.
Okay.
And it's not even he's like even giving me feedback and even kind of giving me examples of like, yeah, I've seen that with this or that. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, brother. Well, and one of the things I'm really leaning on to is how like and we've talked about this before, but how Campbell has really alleviated any remaining fears of supernatural that I've had, as in fear of a demon lurking behind a shadow, waiting to tempt me, or even like someone calling on a demon, which I still think there's some weight to that, but it's for the same reason. It's like it could be possibly a physical manifestation of psychic energy, which all comes from inside of you anyway,
Mhm.
but it all always comes from inside of you, from your head and your heart, like all of religion, yada yada. And he's yes and in everything I say, and and it like I think we're good. And as like almost as the conversation or as like the topics change, yeah, he I'm like, or he's saying something, and I say, the Buddhists really had this figured out like 1300 years ago or more, or really like 2000 years ago or more. And he says, well, you can't trust everything the Buddhists say because there's a lot of demonic things in their meditations too. And I'm like, oh, brother, did you not hear me lay out step by step on how the demon stuff isn't real? Um, but I didn't say that to him. Kind of, man, I hope this isn't passive aggressive, but maybe it is. But I'm comfortable with this level of passive aggressiveness from me is I've been kind of smirking and like, okay, and giving them some room to explain. And this isn't passive aggressive at all. It's actually assertive. But after I give them some room to explain, I like to say, no. I did I didn't I didn't I wasn't argumentative or confrontational. I was like, no, 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 no. It's there's no demonic thing except for what you put into it, and even then, it's coming from inside of you.
Yeah.
And so we had this cool little back and forth, and but at the end of the argument, or not argument, at the end of the discussion, he just was not picking up what I was laying down, and I thought that he was because he was giving me all
Mhm.
the signs and indications that he was and wasn't.
Um, I want to go back though.
Okay.
What specifically, like, what did he mean by demonic, and also what sorts of demonic chants do they have? Like, what's he talking about?
Well, I didn't give him a chance to, man, you know what? He was right. I did.
You're really going through like the whole circle, man, of emotions about this interaction.
I didn't give him a chance to explain because I wanted to just shoot him down so fast. And I feel like I did, I say effective, but it was only effective to me because he still wasn't picking up what I was putting down. But come to mind, there is a school of Tibetan Buddhism, and I can't remember the names, but I think I've talked about them on this podcast before, and it's kind of an example of integration. The story is Buddhism was on its way to Tibet, and at these early like first century Buddhists, these first century Buddhists were trying to build these temples up in Tibet, but the local, excuse me, the local that's a move I've always done forever is burp in my mouth and blow
And
it out
blow.
like it's a blow like it's a cloud of smoke. The locals, the local demons and like the ancient deities that people were worshiping there were not happy that Buddhism was showing up, and so they were tearing down these monasteries that was going up in Tibet. And it got to the point where all these monks were sending letters back to the motherland in India of like, hey, what do we do? Every time we try to build a temple, these spirits and these demons are tearing them down. Well, there was I can't remember the name of it, but I can't remember the name of him. But there was this specific monk that came from India up there and like, don't worry, we got the fella. We're gonna send him to you. And not like the normal what you would think of the normal Buddhist thing of just thinking on meditating on nothing. Man, because I told him Buddhists just meditate on nothing, which 99% of the time is true. But this one particular fella didn't do that. I need to apologize to my neighbor. This one particular fella didn't do that. He actually there's a story of like his backstory also how he came to this. But he was like, before he got saved by Buddhism, he was a wizard in Hindu. And he was even like an evil wizard. Like he would use magic and all this stuff. Like people would hire him to put spells on their enemies. He would use this magic to make himself rich, to seduce women, to kill people, like even family members of his, that almost like an irredeemable guy. Um, but he found he found religion. He found Buddhism and got saved. Was redeemed. Well, they sent him up to Tibet to um, to exorcise the demons that were up in the hills, not letting the Buddhists build their temples. And actually, what man, I normally this stuff is. I wish I was a little bit better prepared. But what he did was he pulled out some old magic tricks and like enchanted the demons and even captured them in little like talismans and was able to pacify the spirits this way or that way. But what the story like in Buddhism is like every other religion, the Sunday school version of the story, you can get something out of that. But what the real meaning of the story was, is he had to use his past pain, or not pain, the bad stuff that he did in his before he was redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
He had to integrate that to calm demons, to calm bad stuff in a new place. He'd be like, it would be just like if you got into a car wreck or whatever the scenario would be. But there had come a time for you to be able to pull up some old cop skills, like some skills that you thought you'd never need again, some
Mm-hmm.
skills that you thought were dead and gone. But you're like, I'll be damned. I know how to work a pair of handcuffs, and I know how to read someone their rights. Like, actually, I can explain to you what Miranda is. Um, that's what the meaning of this practice is. But the Sunday school version of this practice is of these practices, what that looks like is you're actually praying to some demons, and you're actually talking to some darker spirits. So you know what? He was right. There is a part of Buddhism, a very, very small niche
You think?
sliver of Buddhism that talks to demons.
Do you think that's what he was referring to, or was he referring to Buddhism as like a broader concept?
I don't know. Well, actually, I kind of do know. I think he was referring to it as a broader concept. I don't think he knew about the sliver of Tibetan Buddhism because my comeback to him was no, Buddhists think about nothing. Like they think about the empty mind or the empty cup, no thing. And and his answer was like, yeah, that's dangerous. That's bad. You can't do that. And at that point, I realized like, oh, you don't know anything about this topic, which is, maybe my bad for putting that judgment on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a little bit of demon talk and even spells and some in a very niche sliver of Tibetan Buddhism. There is a tradition of talking to demons, but Buddhists of especially the Tibetans and even some of the old school Indians have always been cool with Shiva because I think more of the concept of there's even a temple in India, one of the oldest temples of Shiva is half of it is dedicated to Shiva and the other half is dedicated to Buddha or to Siddhartha. because maybe, no, it is Buddha. Because those two are so intertwined.
Well, I've got a couple thoughts on that. The first, uh, I was drive today as I was driving down Kellogg, headed to another showing. I saw a van, like a big, um, it wasn't quite an 18 passenger van, but it was a large van, and on the back it had all kinds of writing. Like it was a big, like the whole back was had writing on it, and it
What
was
kind of writing?
I'm not sure what language. Well, I guess I could guess
But it
because on
wasn't a
this
different language.
it was a different language, and on the side it said Buddhism was founded in Nepal,
Hmm.
and I figured maybe you would have some insight into what that is. That a argument? Is that a controversy? Like what would the message be to say Buddhism was founded in Nepal?
Well, I don't know, but maps were, especially our idea of borderlines and countries is not what the ancients had in mind at all. At best, there were city states to describe any plot of land. But to my knowledge, Buddhism was founded in India.
Not according to this guy's knowledge. And I'm guessing that whatever was written on the back was written in Nepalese, would be my guess. Whatever language they would speak there.
Buddhism originated in present-day Nepal with the birth of Siddhartha Gautama in Lumbini, located in southern Terai region in 563 BC, before Christ. Uh, well, but I think that would have been part of what I think they would have considered themselves India. But even then,
Well,
maybe not.
the vibe that I got from it, just from the style of van and like the decals on it and the lettering on the back, it would have been the equivalent of sometimes you'll see a truck that has like maybe mailbox lettering or just spray paint, whatever, that has just random Bible verses.
Uh-huh.
That would be like every knee shall bow, every tongue confess,
Oh
and
yeah, brother.
next to that would say repent. You know, next to that would say fear God. Like that vibe is what I got.
Uh-huh.
But the side said
I think it's
Buddhism
cool to
was
see
founded
that
in
from a
Nepal.
Buddhist. Yeah.
But I just wonder what the like what's the argument there? Like who's arguing against that, and why the need to have that on your van? I wonder.
Oh, I don't know, but that's really cool. I think it's cool to get that from someone other than Western Evangelica
Yeah,
Of Western Evangelical of like, just so you know,
right,
Buddhism is from Nepal, not
motherfucker.
India. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first thing that I wanted to bring up. The second was
Cool.
you had mentioned, and I agree with you, but you had mentioned that it's all inside the angels
Uh-huh.
and demons and all of that. Um, but do you think that there can be? You mentioned physical manifestations. Like, so when people see or report seeing angels or demons or interacting with them or whatever,
Hmm.
is there something there? Do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the real answer is I don't know. But I think what we think of as angels and demons is 100% in our mind. Um, but also in the universe. Like I do think part of the intelligent the intelligent creator aspect of the universe, which is real, not Israel, which is real, kind of the opposite of Israel.
Slow down, baby.
But but again, I think that's the same thing. Like where it's potato. I think there can be physical manifestations, and I even think there can be entities in the world that you maybe you can even have physical contact with. So yeah, maybe.
Well, I wonder.
Shame on
So
me for slamming that door shut and for pretending like I know everything. Shame on me.
you do know lots of things, so
I needed to take these vitamins last night.
I understand why. Um, I really do think that what we call the devil, what we call Satan, is part of our psyche. It's part
Yes.
of the human psyche. It's in me, it's in you, it's in your neighbor, it's in the person across the way. I do think that originates within us, but I also wonder if kind of like kind of like the first hike that we went on, where there was a sign that said it was a sacred place, and we it felt different. I wonder if you can if people can manifest that, like if you and I, let's say, maybe this is even what happens in worship. You know, you get 500 people in the same that are like minded
Hmm.
and have an attitude of worship or an attitude of gratitude or whatever it is. If you can't actually manifest a spirit of that thing, right? Like if you can't, maybe another example would be like a negative. If you had 500 people that were uh, filled with hate or selfishness or whatever kind of greed, anger, lust, whatever negative emotion you could think of, if you wouldn't if you wouldn't manifest that spirit in that place, and if so, if it could be manifested to a point where it becomes reality.
Maybe, but I will say there are traditions across multiple mythologies and religions that have sacred spaces and have like geographical significant spaces. Um, the Temple of Delphi in Athens, Greece, was built on one, and that was called the navel of the world, is like how their pantheon and their mythology describes it. And a lot of people describe feeling that same feeling there. Um, a lot of the temples in Latin America and different countries in Latin America and Peru and Mexico, people describe feeling that same like, hey, this place is special. Like I can't put
Mm-hmm.
my finger on it, but this place is special. But what made it special? Maybe it could have been from people of one mind and one accord, may in a tradition of thousands of years of that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, coming up and doing the same thing because were around for a long, long time. Surprise, like I'm breaking anything new.
What?
Yeah, people have been around for a long, long time. So if people spend thousands, eons coming to one place saying this place is special, this place is special, the rocks have memories, and the earth itself might remember that vibration of people
Yeah.
putting off for so long saying special, special, special. Like you can go to Stonehenge. If you go to Stonehenge, I went there on a mission trip, and just walking around it, you feel like almost like a magnetic hum coming
Yeah.
from those rocks. And you're like, this is not just a big solar clock. Like this is more than that.
Well, it's interesting that you used the word hum because that's what I was telling Fraser was that it just I sometimes wonder if the universe, if everything in the universe just has a hum to it. I used to call it a vibration, but now I think of it more as like a hum. And then you wonder
They
if,
talk about that in Hindu. What you're describing is the universal sound.
oh, okay.
Tyler Childers wrote a song about it.
I wondered, okay, so like these ants that we've been watching for the past 20 minutes, like there's a life to them. There's a hum within them, and you feel the air, and there's a feeling of an aliveness or a hum to the air or the trees or all of these things. And then I wondered, like, I wonder if rocks, like I wonder if there's energy within rocks. Uh,
People have said so for thousands of years. People have claimed it.
and so that makes me wonder, is it possible that there are just places on earth, there are places in the universe that for whatever reason there's a natural increase of or not increase, but there's naturally more vibration or a louder hum in specific areas, and people just over throughout history have just noticed it,
Oh,
or Yeah, if it's
Was
if
it
it's
there, but was it there before people?
that's the question.
Yeah,
That's the question. Or did we manifest it?
yeah.
And I think you could make a case for manifesting it maybe through the Bible, where it talks about the gods of nations or like
Hmm.
geographical deities. I wonder if they didn't create those things by
Which are demons, by
manifestation,
the way. Let's be clear; those were all demons and tricksters of Satan
and rascals.
and rascals.
Uh, but yeah, I'm not so quick to say they're not real because I do think I do wonder if there's something to it, but I do get the sense that it maybe originates within us, or if not us, originated with people, with humans in general.
Well, so a lot of Eastern traditions articulate this the same way, which would be confirmed by even the Sunday school understanding of the Old Testament. But a lot of the Eastern traditions, specifically Hindu and Buddhism, say that consciousness was here before people, before man. There was a consciousness, and they describe it as like the Atman, as like the consciousness that created. Like if there is a Buddhism doesn't like to say that there is a creator God, but if there is a creator, it would have been the Atman, which was consciousness that predates anything. Now, I think you can describe that as in the consciousness. See, maybe, thank you, universe, thank you, God. But I would say that you can describe that as the consciousness that came from our pre-human ancestors, because we know that religion was around before Homo sapiens sapiens came, because some of the earlier Homo sapien or some of the earlier Homo uh, ancestors, some of the earlier human ancestors were burying themselves, for example. And like if you see someone burying themselves, there's no other reason to do that. Like bears don't bury themselves, birds don't bury each other because
You're saying bury their dead,
bury
not
their dead.
okay.
Yeah. In and even with tools, like things that they would need for the afterlife. Like here's which means they believed in an afterlife. And these are pre-human humans, pre-Homo sapien humans. There's a real cool documentary on Netflix. It might not be on Netflix anymore, but it was. It's called Cave of Bones, but it talks about this. It was a cave they found in Turkey that had pre-humans in there. So I think you would say that even before humans looked like we do, like even back in Neanderthal, even before Neanderthal days, which now they don't think that Homo sapiens anyway, um, that religion has always been written on the heart or the afterlife and like the sun god and the moon god or some form of that has always been on the hearts and minds of man even back before we were man. So how far does that go back in evolutionary terms? I don't know. But it it could be more than that though too. It could be like what we would just because we have no I don't have a greater vocab I don't have a good enough vocabulary to describe it with any other words than a deity or maybe an angel and a demon out there in the universe could have like maybe when it was their day before there was any living matter and just the gods were the only things walking the earth. Maybe they're the ones who made these places special.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
or maybe there were just geographical locations where they hung out.
Dude, I just deconstructed from Jungian and Joseph Carl or Joseph Campbell on this podcast. I just had a deconstruction from that. Wow, a deconstruction from my deconstruction.
It's interesting to think of if you consider Satan to be part of our psyche, it kind of paints the temptations of Jesus in a different light, doesn't it? to think of, so after he was in the desert or the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, and he had fasted, and the devil came to him and showed him all of the kingdoms of the world if he would bow down and follow him, and
Hmm.
if he would turn this rock into stone, that he could eat it, or rock and stone, this stone into bread, he could eat it, or he could throw himself off the cliff, and God would send his angels and carry him up in their wings. That makes a lot of sense for that to be from his own psyche.
Yeah.
That if you will just worship yourself, if you will worship your shadow, if you will bow down and cave to your cravings and your desires, everything could be yours.
And even these
Which,
shallow levels of spiritual power that you think you have. Carl Jung talks about the temptations of Jesus and sort of some great detail, but describes it in the view of psychology and mythology
yeah,
of it being an internal conversation.
yeah. I mean, that's the same. That's exactly how the temptations, I think, go for pretty much all everything.
Like, could you use this power of you being able to explain with some persuasion these spiritual things to someone who hasn't come to this level? Could you use that power for your own good? Yeah, that's what cult leaders do.
For sure. That's what
Yeah,
a lot of
so
evangelical leaders do.
a lot of evangelical leaders do that. That's like if you could turn this stone into bread, you could yeah,
Yeah.
pretty trippy stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting to think of it from that perspective.
Yeah. And once again, just like Chi, you've stumbled onto something
Yeah.
that is already well established. So
I
you're
sure
in
I sure wish that I could just figure something out on my own. Like just come up with something new instead
uh,
of actually it's kind of cool. It,
there's
it,
nothing
it,
new under the sun.
it really is pretty cool to think that you've come up with this amazing new idea to find out that it was new like 6,000 years ago.
But I think it's a testament to the vibe that you're on because you're on the same vibe as, Jesus or some of the other people, just as far as your way of thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe it's whenever you're tuned into that frequency
Yeah.
because you're definitely not there all the time. I say that not as judgment, but like I am definitely
Yeah.
not there all the time.
I mean, when I'm yelling at this dude for failing his single life purpose for letting this guy, around the rest of us,
I think it's when you're pissed
that
off at
might
the
not be
guy
the
for
Christ
revving his engine.
consciousness.
Yeah. I think it's when you're pissed off at the guy just for revving his engine. I think that's where but maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong about lots of things recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Uh,
what do you think about living your truth, quote unquote? Man, that kind of blew up in my face too, just after everything we were talking about. I was really prepared at the onset of our conversation, and even before, like I was thinking about what I'm going to talk about today. I was really prepared to like dig in my heels on being right and being dogmatic to my own damn religion that I've created in my mind. But I do think there's something to say, and I think the core of it is still true that you don't have to be perfect all the time. You don't have to be love and light. Sometimes you just can't be.
yeah.
I think being telling people you're upset, maybe not by telling them like, "Hey, I'm upset," but what I was thinking is that kids are so much more honest, as in young children, like Cash,
Yeah.
are so much more honest and so much more pure because they're not bound by the same social norms and the
Yeah.
same social contracts.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you can just say, "Hey, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have these conversations today. Can we just not?"
A kind of maybe a good example of this, maybe bad, was this morning at kids' church because I still do serve in kids' church.
Yeah, you still minister.
Yes, there's this kid that he doesn't. I imagine he's probably a lot like you were. Like he just doesn't really care for rules. He doesn't really care
Yeah.
for order or anything like that.
Hell yeah.
and he brought a backpack today, and at this particular time, it was sit and watch the video time, right?
Uh-huh.
Except for him. So he went up and he was getting his backpack, and I was like, "Hey, it's not time to be in our backpack. It's time to sit down." And this kid turns around and does this motion at me.
Yeah.
Where if you're not watching the video, what he did was he put his fingers up, alternating up and down, and shook his butt as if
Yeah.
he were like wiping his butt with me,
Na 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 na
you know,
boo
like that
boo.
kind of thing. And I
Yeah.
was just like, little shit.
Yeah.
Um,
That is the rascal that I want to be. That's obviously I don't want to do that to my boss at work, or I don't want to do that to the coworkers or the cop that pulls me over. But that is the archetype that my life's purpose is to tap into. I want to have that spark in me
yeah,
when I die. Like I
but
want that
that
to be the next chapter that I go into.
but that's the authenticity. That's the honesty that kids bring,
Yes.
right? Like in a couple years, he's going to learn that that's not appropriate, or
Yeah.
like that's he's going to get in trouble, or it won't get him what he wants, whatever. But kids are just so much more honest. Like they'll just straight up say, "No, I don't
Yeah.
want to sit down right now." And I don't know. I think that while you're right, you can't be love and light all the time. You can't be certainly can't be perfect all of the time, or maybe any of the time. But you can be honest and
Yeah.
you can be authentic. And I think that's probably that may be the goal.
Hmm.
And within that, you don't want to
Absolutely is the goal.
you don't you don't want to have negative, at least as far as I can see. I don't think you want to have negative emotions. But sometimes you just do.
I don't
Sometimes you
think you
just
want
need
to
to
be,
tell somebody, just be quiet.
yeah.
Talking.
I think you don't want to be ruled by your negative emotions, but to pretend like your negative emotions don't exist is going to
That's it.
cause,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
going
it.
to cause mental anguish and
That's
mental turmoil.
yeah, and I think I tried that for a real long time.
No, me and you both.
I
But yeah,
think I think that probably a lot of us. That's the
I've been saved from that. I've been delivered. Those can't be
yeah
there.
yeah. You've seen that video on it's an old video on Instagram where the guy's like it's a charismatic type church, African American guy, and he's like, "I'm not gay no more. I
Yeah.
don't look at men no
I
more."
have been delivered.
Yeah,
I love women, 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 women. I'm not gay
yeah.
no more.
But I think that's pretty typical. Is just to try to say like just to stuff it down. Like, no, I'm not angry. No, I'm not mad. No, I'm not whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not tired. I'm not,
yep.
I got it. Yeah.
When the reality is just if we would just say, yeah, I'm actually pretty pissed right now, or
Yeah.
I'm feeling whatever it is. Uh, I think that we can at least be honest, and that's probably the start.
That's the goal. Buddhism says to think about whenever you're in meditation and a distracting thought comes by. So, like, whenever a distracting thought comes by, to think of it as a cloud passing in the sky. Not as if you pretend like it's not like it doesn't exist. You're not just saying, "Oh no, I don't have any distracting thought." Just in out, in out. Omne name padme hum. Instead of doing that, to say acknowledge it, but like, yes, that is a distraction thought. I can process it, deal with that distracting thought, and let it slide by with the next exhale or with the next inhale. I've heard that being explained as relating to negative emotions and negative states of being that you go through. Like whenever you resist your depression or whenever you resist your anxiety and pretend like they don't even exist and be like, no, those don't exist. I'm fine. See this face I put on me? I'm an ass kicker. Whatever. That causes you actually end up getting stuck on it more. Like then you're wrestling with quicksand and there with like tar. Like the more you fight against it, the more you're going to be absorbed by it. Or if you just Yes, I'm depressed. I'm not going to let this depression rule me forever. I'm going to address it now and let it pass. Yes, I have anxieties. Yes, I am sad. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm worried about my children and, with A, B, or C. I'm worried about my relationship with this or that. I failed at this one particular thing. Instead of letting that failure or your fear or your obsession or whatever dominate your life, and worse, even pretending like it doesn't exist, you
Pretending
can't
like it doesn't exist and still dominate your life.
and still dominate your life. I'm not saying you have to solve it. I'm just saying look at it, imagine it as a cloud passing in the sky. I see you, I acknowledge you. That's not what I'm doing right now. In, out. I can't live my life obsessed with this one thing because I can't save the world. I'm not my son's savior. I'm not my wife's savior. I'm not my coworker's savior. I can't be all powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent, at all everywhere all the time. I can only be me. And yes, acknowledge it, see it in, out. I still have to protect this inner peace, homie, or I'm gonna be killed by it.
The analogy I made for that the other day was like when you're driving somewhere and there's other traffic on the road. It's good, it's okay to be aware of these cars, people going doing what they're doing, but you can't engage with every car that passes into your vision.
Yeah.
If you are like every time you go over a bridge or whatever, like you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to
You're
go
definitely
in a
not paying
wreck.
attention to the road. Yeah.
You're not doing what you're doing. But sometimes you may have to interact with like somebody's revving their engine. You might have to say, "Hey, shut the fuck up."
Do you?
Maybe not. And maybe that's a good example. Maybe that's a good example of sometimes you can just say, "Yeah, that guy's revving his engine." But anyway, doesn't
Yeah.
affect what I'm doing. I'm driving to where I'm going.
All right.
Um, did
I'm really glad we could both get something out of this conversation. It's not just me realizing.
did we talk about the did we talk about the Midnight Gospel on here and the last episode with Duncan Trussell's mom?
If we have, I don't remember it, and it definitely deserves a repeat.
Well, that particular episode is so freaking good. Man, it's so good. There's a there's a part in it where she's talking to him about meditation, and she says, if you don't know what to do, if you're stuck and you're looking for answers, you don't know what to say, what to do, whatever. She said, just sit there and imagine what the inside of your hand feels like.
Mm.
And it doesn't take long for me to feel my hand from the inside.
Oh yeah.
And then after you do that, try to do both hands at the same time. And then after you do that, try to just imagine what the inside of your forearms feel like. And it's really like I can actually, when I do that, when I'm calm and still, and when I really feel that, I can feel it feels like my hands are vibrating. It feels like there's just an energy within them. I haven't been able, I haven't been able to get like the goal would be to eventually just feel my entire body from the inside. And I haven't been able to do that. I lose
Where do you lose it
focus.
at?
Uh, Usually when I try to add my feet. So what I've tried to do up to this point is feel both of my hands at the same time, feel both of my forearms and hands at the same time, and then add my feet. And then I
You
end
should
up
start at the feet.
losing concentration. Yep.
Yeah. Um, Man, do you remember? I know you were on this kick because I was so proud whenever you got slightly obsessed with Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There is a meditation of Deepak Chopra where he does that of like, I think he does start at the feet also, but it's of a whole body awareness meditation. And by the end of it, you imagine yourself dissolving like into a cloud. And if you're able to stay on track of it or stay on track and follow through the whole time, It is like a somewhat mystical experience when you're doing it. Definitely something there.
Yeah. um, Old Deepak kind of fell off a little bit with his connection to Epstein.
Oh, I didn't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't aware.
I think that um, I'm 99% certain that it was Epstein. It
This is worth a
may,
goog.
yeah, you better fact check me real quick because it may have just been that accusations had come out recently. Kind of the same with Ravi Zacharias, um, rest his soul, or I think even who's the preacher down in Texas? And I may just be slandering people at this point. There was a did Tony Evans get caught up in a scandal too?
Man, I'm so far I'm unaware of that. Oh man. This is what Google AI tells me. I said, was Deepak Chopra connected to Epstein? According to Google AI, not according to me. According to Google AI, yes, wellness author, I think he was more than that, had a documented connection with Epstein, including at least a.
I know that you're not laughing at this because I know you well.
But listen, just because he could still be a vessel for the truth, just because he was a flawed individual,
It
does not
absolutely,
mean the
absolutely,
things that he taught
because
were.
because Satan is within him,
That's right.
just like Satan is within me and you and everybody else who rightly judges those the people on that list. You got to recognize it's the same devil
Yeah.
that's inside all of us.
He had at least a dozen meetings with Jeffrey Epstein between 2016 and 2019, which I feel like were between his convictions. I think the first time he was convicted for pedophile things was in
Pretty
16.
early. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought I thought it was even earlier than that.
Maybe it was. Yeah. Released emails reveal a closer friendship than previously known with Chopra, calling it a blast, discussing personal matters. And in some cases referring to younger women as girls. Okay. Well,
I I saw
so
that.
that lets you know that trust in no man. That man will always let you down.
Yeah,
It's
because we're all made out of the same stuff. I'm sorry to say.
yeah.
Um, I didn't follow it. I saw that Tim Dillon was talking about Melania's press conference about her relationship with Epstein. What's the did you follow that? Do you have any idea what she's talking about? Or
Um no, well, I have I didn't watch her press conference, so I mean, it wouldn't be fair for me to really evaluate it. But what I've heard other people say about her press conference is that basically she is just I think she's inviting victims of Epstein to the White House, um, which is so weird because just like a month ago, Pam Bondi wouldn't even look at them and acknowledge their existence in her congressional testimony or in her congressional meeting or whatever. Um, so that's about all I know about that. I have heard which sounds true to my spirit, a pretty good conspiracy theory about why Trump gave old Bondi the axe, and it was because whenever she spoke at the first House or congressional committee, she wasn't under oath and wasn't obliged to answer any questions, or at least not in any litigious way. Well, there was a federal subpoena to a Senate meeting, so not the House. Like the first one, the first one she spoke at was at a House, and that was with Massey and with some other people. Well, there was a Senate subpoena sent to her, and basically she was going to go under oath and answer questions relating to the Epstein files, uh, and yada yada. That was supposed to be happening in less than 30 days from when Trump fired her. And there was I guess the Senate told her that the subpoena still applies, and Blanche, the new attorney general, spoke up for her and said, no, it doesn't, because she's not the attorney general anymore. So she's no longer going to be held to testify to the Senate uh, ethics committee or whatever. And it was going to be under oath, uh, whatever, whatever that
Can
means.
can they not subpoena just a regular citizen to testify under oath?
I think they can, but the meeting that was scheduled and was on the books was for acting attorney general Pam Bondi. Well, since acting attorney general Pam Bondi doesn't
Just
exist
doesn't
anymore,
exist. Yeah.
then yeah, they're like that meeting is being canceled.
I mean that makes sense. That's a conspiracy theory that just sounds right.
Well, I mean, yeah, it sounds right, and it's a weird example of, I think we've seen this in other iterations of the whole Trump administration, and maybe every presidential administration has been doing this forever, but it's just so blatant with like the kindergarten level of 4D chess that they've been doing of like, I'm doing this because I want to. Sir, you can't legally do this. Yes, I can. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
they're making the rules just because they say they can, even if there's supposedly laws forcing them to say that they can't do this. They're just saying, "Oh, that's not how I interpret the laws." Like we literally we subpoena acting attorney general Pam Bondi to come testify on all these Epstein things. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. I'm not the acting attorney general,
Mm-hmm.
and that's according to the new attorney general, acting attorney general Blanche.
Well, he's the guy that pretty early on. I don't know what his position was before this. Um, do you know?
He was Trump's personal attorney.
Okay.
Trump appointed him as deputy AG, bringing him from his private law firm, where he had been Trump's personal attorney for decades.
Well, I heard a clip of him saying before that there's nothing to investigate, there's nothing to release, there's nothing to see here. So you can, I think, rest assured that that's going to continue to be his position. Is that there's nothing to release, there's nothing to. Are we still talking about this creep?
Yeah,
That's going to be his perception
which
or
is
his
which is
position.
it's sad because every 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 boomer slash cult level MAGA follower that I know has adopted that talking point of, are we
Yeah,
still talking about this? I never really cared about it to begin with.
you know,
Well, that's one of the things that got him elected was him really hammering that home.
yeah. I had this thought. I think yesterday. It might have even been today. You see those people mostly on social media, and some of them are real people. Like they're people that you and I know. Like
Yeah.
I know that they exist. They're not trolls. They're not bots. They're actual people. And you see this, a lot of them that are still like diehard MAGA. He's playing 4D chess, all this kind of stuff. Do you suppose that there's a there's a level of like I see what happens when you question this man or when you don't fully support everything he does, you'll get the axe, you'll get kicked out of the club. Do you suppose that even on this level, like the level of the boomer on
Our
Facebook,
plebe. Yeah. Our
like
plebe level.
I wonder if they don't see that and internalize that, like if I
They
give
feel an
up,
anxiety. They feel a
yeah, and
fear.
a fear of being kicked out of the club. Obviously, Donald Trump doesn't know their name, and there's
Yeah,
like
he doesn't know they exist.
right, but still, I wonder if in the cult there's not a feeling of like I cannot question this man because then I will be out of the club.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same, man. I won't say that's the main thing, but that's definitely a pretty big element that kept me a Christian for as long as I was, as in a dogmatic, you
Yeah,
know, Christian, because I still do call myself that, just in a very different definition of what that means now. But as like a Western evangelical, the same type of Christian that I considered myself when I was 13 or 16 or 25 or 30. Um, that was an element of, I mean, this, I don't need to diminish it. Fear of hell was probably the biggest element for a long time, or one of the biggest elements that kept me in there. And that keeps a good majority of people still going to church and paying their tithes
For
and
sure.
doing everything, is the fear of hell, the fear of exclusion, eternal
Yes. So,
exclusion.
yes. So yeah, not only the fear of hell in the sense of the torment and punishment and all of that, but the fear of exclusion, the
Yes.
fear of exile, the fear of being abandoned if you ask the wrong questions or express doubt or
And man, I've
disbelief.
got some stories, but I think you've got a lot more stories that trump mine over that social exclusion and that
Yeah.
social.
I've got firsthand accounts of asking the wrong questions or just not believing the right thing. And you go from being a leader of the club to
Uh-huh.
being out.
You're
Like you
fucking
just,
out.
you just, you may not, you cannot participate.
And if it, I mean, I think if it gets to a level so bad, when other people ask about you, they're going to say he was never really saved in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're seeing that with, again, it's on social media.
Yeah, you
So
see it. Well, you're seeing it with Candace Owens and Tucker
yeah,
Carlson
yeah.
and Alex Jones, even
Yep.
low
They,
IQ.
they were never, they were never part of the club anyway, or not club, but
Yeah,
they were
they were
never
never
true
really saved
believers.
first place.
They were never true believers in the first place, or they had. I saw a post. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Trump, and I'm pretty sure it was on Truth Social, which I downloaded and created an account. Like he's the only person I follow on it. I literally the only reason I get on the app is to see what kind of crazy shit he said today. But he said something about I think it was Tucker Carlson about how he had basically become a spokesperson for Islam in Iran a long time ago. It's
Yeah.
just now coming out to the. We're just now seeing it.
Tucker Carlson, who, by the way, gave the closing speech at the Republican National Convention last year, like in 2020, or it might have been 2025, but he also gave the closing remarks for the president's, whatever, his final speech on the campaign before election night. Tucker Carlson was Team Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not just Team Trump, he was Team Republican. Like I said, gave the closing remarks at the Republican National Convention not a long time ago, last year,
Yeah.
2025. That's how quick you can go.
And so if you're in the cult,
Yeah.
even if you're just a housewife in Wichita or
You work at
whatever,
you work at whatever plant, making boxes, making this or that.
yep, it would make sense to me why you would be afraid to question or to speak out or even condemn
Yeah.
because I don't want to be kicked out of that club.
Yeah. I mean, I'd hate to say, or I want to say, you should live your true self, which you should live your true self, and you should question things that are. I think you have a moral obligation to do that, to work things out, take it to the mat, see what's what, the mat in your mind and in your heart, and put it against greater evidence, to seek out evidence, contrary evidence, to see if you truly believe that or not. But I understand why you don't. That
Yeah,
demon is scary. That's a hard fellow to wrestle with. He
and
he
it's
has thousands of years on you.
and it's scary to feel like you're going to be kicked out. It's scary to feel like you're going to be excommunicated.
It is scary to get kicked out. It's a
Yeah,
scary thing. You lose friends.
yeah,
You lose family members sometimes.
and I think that uh, maybe I'm being bold to say it. Maybe I don't want to out anybody, but I feel like you've had some loss from your outgrowth,
Yeah.
from speaking up on, like speaking out against the things you see.
Hmm.
You've had friends or family come down on you for
Yeah. Yeah, I
for
sure have.
losing the faith, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Man, it hurts. I mean, there's been different iterations of that. Yeah. I've and you know what's even worse? What's even painful, what's so there's a version of that where people just say, "Oh, he's out of the club, cut him off. He's gone." There's a deeper level or a deeper example of this that I've had to go through like in the last couple months or this year. It is when I made the decision, and we're in April. Um, there's a more painful version of it is when someone doesn't cut you out for immediately questioning and even kind of tags you along. And by tag you along, I mean like they're still friends with you on Facebook. And maybe they don't call you as much as they called all the time, but if you call, they'll answer, you know. Um, but you can tell they kind of pity you more than really respect your opinion like maybe they once did.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see things on their social media, or even if they have a podcast or whatever, you hear things coming from them that are now just very contrary to where you've landed now. That's more painful. I have gone through that this year of just cutting those people out. And by cutting them out, I mean unfriending them and deleting their phone number. And these are people I've known since childhood. There's been family there's been like relationship family related people that I've lost, but those didn't hurt as much as this did, of cutting people out that I've known since I was a child, or since I was a teenager, and we've gone through fundamental things. Yeah, foundational things,
Mm-hmm.
experiences, and yada yada with. But they're just right now they're preaching a mess preaching literally, or espousing a message that I just can't get on with.
Yeah.
And my instead of confronting them directly, which I don't know would help, would only harm whatever thing there is there left. Just look at it like a passing cloud, breathe in and breathe out and unfriend, and go to my phone and delete. Not block, but delete.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of think, I probably need to do that with my social media because it's just gotten such a bummer every time I get on.
Yeah.
Um, Primarily Facebook, um, because I've had a renewed joy in Instagram.
Yeah.
The just the humor, the funny
Welcome back,
reels.
by the way. Yeah. Instagram's the best.
Yeah. I Every time I get on Facebook, and I'm just like, God dang, like there's just I've got really a couple options. Either one, cut my list, cut my friends list down. No, I don't need to cut my list. Limit the exposure that I have to a lot of people that I don't honestly even know.
You
I
can
don't know.
unfollow versus unfriend.
Yeah,
You can unfollow people.
yeah. So maybe just cut it down to where I'm just not seeing all of the bullshit, or just get rid of the platform altogether. Because it
Oh, get rid of
really,
the platform?
I mean, at this point, I don't know that
But
it
don't you
serves a
use it for
purpose.
business?
I used to. I haven't for a while, and I haven't even I haven't even posted anything for a long time. Um, I don't know. I'm just kind of over it.
I mean, is it an active, you kind of already answered this. Is it an active part of your business now? Like, do you have anything in the works, or do you see yourself getting anything in the works from Facebook specifically?
That's probably the number one reason why I still have it,
Yeah.
because I've convinced myself that it is important. Like I've got a business page, and I'll usually, if I have a listing or if something special happens, I'll post on it. But I don't know that I'm actually getting business from it. Um, I'll take that back. I do think that there's value in like posting on all of the for sale sites like the
Yeah.
Wichita real estate for sale or
But
Wichita
you can do that
homes,
through your
Kansas
business
homes.
page.
Yeah. Um, can you have just a business page without a? I guess I
Yeah.
could deactivate my personal.
Yep. My buddy, I know he's not going to be offended at this, but my buddy Ray, for years, deactivated his personal page, but I would still find him on Messenger. So I like his Facebook page technically still existed, but it was just deactivated as in it was dead to the world. I couldn't find him on my friends list, but I could find him on Messenger. And then years and years later, whenever he did come back, it was like he just hit the on switch and it was right back to where he was.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just make a cryptic post about disappearing.
Oh yeah, you want people
you're
to call you?
you're never going to see. Yeah, but then I'm not going to answer, or I'll have people comment like, "What's wrong? I hope you're
Are you
okay,"
okay?
and I'll just won't answer. This is the last time you'll see my face. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe not. Um, well, we're coming right up on 2 hours. One thing that I'm just so disappointed about was to find that Gerald the dolphin might have been a hoax.
yeah.
Um,
But
might have been, but that
yeah,
kind. I mean, tell me that doesn't sound like something the government would come up with. You know,
yeah, dude. Of course
like
they're gonna say it wasn't real. They don't want you to
that
know.
exactly. Nobody was supposed to find out about this.
They said the same thing about Epstein Island for a long time. Just
Yeah.
they said that they definitely said the same thing about UFOs.
Okay, I'm back on. Never mind. So
Okay.
I am no longer disappointed to find out that it was a hoax because I no longer believe that it was a hoax.
Perfect.
Um,
We've all made some growth.
I have though since the very beginning just been really intrigued by the idea that this guy was drawing elaborate blueprints in the sand,
Uh-huh.
and that doesn't quite sit well with me. Like
How elaborate can sand drawings be?
exactly? What are we talking? What kind of sand are we talking about? Like how big of a space is he using?
He's obviously not
Uh,
drawing to scale.
yeah. So that part of the story is a little bit questionable for me. Um, but I guess more than anything, I'm just disappointed to find that there's some doubt. There's some doubt in the water, and it's kind of clouding things up. I
Yeah.
really wanted it to be so true.
Misinformation is maybe what's going on, is maybe what
Hey,
we're seeing. Misinformation and disinformation.
yeah, yeah, that could be it. You got any parting words? Anything that you want to throw out there?
No, except to don't hold on to it. Hold everything loosely.
Hold on loosely.
Hold on loosely to everything, even if it's your own. Don't develop, the goal would be don't develop dogmatic theology even over your own deconstruction. But if you do find yourself saying, I've developed, happen to have unknowingly, don't hold on to those so tight. Even hold on to those loosely. You can deconstruct from your deconstruction if you want to. Maybe not if you want to. Maybe that if the universe leads you there.
Yeah,
There's
hold
always
on loosely.
someplace else to go. Hold on loosely.
All right, brother. Well, as always, it's been fun. I love you. Love talking to you.
I love you. Like, heart, subscribe, share everywhere you are. Write to us at podcastlawless@gmail.com. Leave comments anywhere you see this, including wherever you get your podcast. I can't say for sure we're going to find you on iHeart or on Apple if you leave a comment. But if you do on Spotify, definitely we'll see it. If you do on YouTube, definitely we'll see it. The most surefire way to communicate with us is podcastlawless@gmail.com. Love you all. I love you, my brother.
Peace out.